All right, I'm here with my man Daniel Cormier. So, DC, you have the biggest fight coming up here against Jon Jones. Is it overwhelming for you at all?
Well, not really overwhelming. I mean, you know, some of the responsibilities and the other things you have to do while trying to train for fights a little different. I mean, we always have media obligations and things we have to do, but this is kind of extreme. You know, like we spend days in Vegas just taking pictures and photos and videos. So if there's anything that's different than my previous fights, it's the media stuff that I'm having to do. And I think that comes with fighting Jon Jones.
This is for the World Championship, though. Are you preparing on the technical side? Are you doing anything differently?
You know, some things. But I kind of believe in myself. I believe in my team. I believe in the guys that help me prepare for every single fight. So, not really. I mean, I'm bringing in different guys. You know, I'm bringing in some tall guys, rangy guys, with the idea of getting used to the body type. Mm-hmm. I won't find another Jon Jones. There is only one. No one has the size and the ability that he has. So I'm bringing guys more for the body, not necessarily them trying to be Jon Jones.
Does that worry you at all, that you can't really find a guy who maybe fights and looks like Jon Jones?
No, not really. You know, because the beauty in him being in the UFC so long is that I can see him any day. I just go on Fight Pass and I can find all of his fights. So I watch him enough to know as long as I'm getting a similar body type, I think I'll be okay. I believe I have some of the best training partners in the world, and I believe that they'll get me ready for this fight.
All right, not being biased, not seeing you as my buddy, I still think you really pose a very tough style matchup for Jon Jones. And I think that. Do you think that, and why? What are you going to give Jon Jones that's different than he's seen in the past?
Well, I'm just more hungry. You know, for Jon Jones, this is title fight number 8. He's done this. But for me, this is everything. I've never had an opportunity to win a UFC title. What I'm going to see, he's going to see a guy that actually just keeps on getting after him. I won't stop. Like, I'm a guy that's going to go and take him down. I'm a guy that's going to stay in his face. If I have to use a metaphor, it's like two kids playing for something. It's the belt. We're playing for the belt. And I'm just going to keep doing this over the course of 5 rounds.
Right.
And I feel that eventually with the pressure that I put on him, that as I tug at his belt, eventually he's going to open his hands and let me have it.
Do you think this fight has become personal at this point? I mean, obviously it has. You guys pushed each other. You had a little pushing match, almost got into a little fight there in Vegas. You guys have been talking trash back and forth. Is it personal, and is that going to affect the way you fight here?
It's personal. I mean, this is a personal fight. I mean, some guys you can't lose to. I cannot lose to Jon Jones. I've put myself in this situation because I want to be in this situation. I cannot lose to that guy. I don't want that guy to have that over me for the rest of my life or forever, however long it lasts. I can't have Jon Jones have that over me, that he beat me for the most precious thing in our sport. So it is personal. But at the end of the day, I'm here to compete. I'm here for competition. I believe that I was put on this earth for competition. And when we go into that cage, I'm there to compete. You know, it's a sporting event. I'm going there to compete for a title.
Now, you said before that you told Jon Jones, who's the real Jon Jones? That's you being fake. Mm-hmm. What have you seen from Jon Jones on the personal side? You think that he's not really showing his true colors?
You know what, man? It's hard because it's almost like he's messing with us because he does such a poor job of hiding the type of person that he really is that it's almost like he knows that we know that he's not being completely genuine. So, I mean, you can point back to the video of us off camera. I mean, just him, hey, beep, are you there? I mean, as a guy that way he perceives himself would not say something like that, no matter what situation it was. To some of the Instagram videos he's made. The person that he portrays is a guy that when someone's down, you don't kick him. He kicked Phil Davis. When Phil Davis lost the Rumble, he kicked him. The person he puts out that he is, he's bigger than that. That's the guy that walks away. He's bigger in all situations. So it's easy to see, man. You just go back down the line, you can find that Jon is not being completely genuine with us.
Now, it seems like all this is kind of happening now because of that weigh-in scuffle, or when you guys had the little stare down. Do you regret what happened there?
You know, man, I regret it a little bit. You know, I regret it from the side of it was embarrassing for the sport, especially for people that had never seen it before, because I think that scuffle, that fight that we had in the MGM, I think it made people tune in. And then when people tuned in, if they had never saw MMA before, they saw 2 guys fighting in the middle of a big casino lobby, which isn't what we want to portray ourselves as. Jon and I are both family men. We both have kids. We both have fiancés. And I think there's so much more to us than what we showed on that day. From a promotion standpoint, I don't think it could have been better. I thought that day and everything else that has transpired between John and I is almost like catching lightning in a bottle. And you don't generally get that.
How do you typically compete? You know, you're going to get in there with Jon Jones for the belt, octagon door shuts. What's your mentality like? What are you thinking? You're looking at Jon Jones across the octagon.
Finally. I'm thinking finally. You know, like this is what I've been training for. This is what I've been wanting for years. This is not something that just started today. This is something that I've wanted since I met John in 2010 or 11 when Cain Velasquez fought Brock Lesnar. Our first interaction was unpleasant. Our very first interaction, from the moment we met, he decided that in order to make a friendship with me, he was going to insult me. He insulted me, so he gave me bulletin board material, to use a football analogy. I stuck his picture on the wall on that day, and I said, one day I'm going to beat that dude. And now, as he's became the most dominant light heavyweight champion of all time, I get the opportunity to beat him at his peak. If I would have beat him a couple years ago, it wouldn't mean as much as it does now. So this has been going for 4 years.
Now, you've been competing a long time. Your athletic career is so impressive. You've competed in the Olympics, Strikeforce tournament champion, now #1 contender, about to fight for the belt at 205 in the UFC. Is this the biggest athletic event of your life?
You know, man, for a long time I thought that the Olympics was it. I thought, man, I represented the United States of America, and there's nothing that I could ever do that would completely match that, because there's only 7 guys get to go and compete in the Olympics. But as I get closer and as I start to feel it, it feels bigger, because so many people are watching. More people want to know the outcome. People are invested. And also the ability to make money is life-changing. You know, this will change everything if and when I win this fight. If or when I win this fight. It's hard, because I put so much value in the fact that as a 16-year-old kid in Louisiana, I said, I want to be an Olympic champion. I had the opportunity to do that, but I'm telling you, man, it feels like this is bigger.
Talk about that a little bit, because, you know, sometimes I wonder, hey, if Daniel went and won the gold in the Olympics, would he continue to fight?
I wouldn't be here, Kenny. So I think back to that, and I think about how things are meant to be. I lost to Cael Sanderson, the most dominant NCAA wrestler of all time, in the NCAA finals. I lost to Gutsalov in the Olympics. I lost because I wasn't supposed to be the champion. Those lessons I learned then, that was all because of January 3rd. I wasn't supposed to be the champion in those situations. It all prepared me for January 3rd. I'm supposed to be the UFC champion. That's why I didn't win the Olympics. Because if I would have won the Olympics, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be on TV with you.
This is what drives you.
This is what drives me. This is the reason that I lost. So all those days that I sat and I cried in wrestling matches all the way through the Olympics, as a 29-year-old man, I cried every time I lost a wrestling match. But all those tears, they all led to the MGM Grand on January 3rd.
Now, when I look at Jon Jones, I think he's very much a faith-based fighter. And by that, I mean, he believes he will never be defeated. He truly believes in his head. Now, you go out there and you beat him January 3rd. What do you think that does to him mentally?
I think he falls back. He kind of falls back into the pack.
Do you think he ever comes back to
he'll
compete
fight
again?
He'll fight me right back, because we'll rematch. That's just right. I mean, he's won so many times, they'll give him a rematch. But I think he'll fall back. What I mean in that sense is, you're right, Kenny. He does believe he's unbeatable. He does believe that he's invincible. He doesn't think any of the people in our division can actually compete with him. But once he knows that he can be beat, once he understands that no one's afraid of him, a guy is his equal, John will fall back to the rest of the division. You won't see him winning 10 in a row anymore. He'll win some, but then he'll lose some, and then he'll go searching for answers. He'll go up to heavyweight. He'll come back down. So my goal is not only to beat him and take his belt. I'm coming to throw his whole career into a tailspin. Because not only is he going to lose this fight, it's going to put doubt and questions in his head. He'll never be able to answer them. You're going to see a different man whenever he gets out of that cage on January 3rd. They may have to convince him to take a rematch, because he won't want to do it.
But you'd be willing to give him an immediate rematch?
Right away. I'll beat him up again. I'll beat him on January 3rd. He'll come right back. I'll beat him again. And then you know what? When a guy that believes the way that he is, he won't be the same. So not only, like I said, he'll lose to me, but his career is going to go into a tailspin. His head will be spinning. He won't know what's going on. This dude's in for a rude awakening. And afterwards, I don't know what's going to make of Jon Jones. I'm looking to rid MMA of Jon Jones.
Well, DC, man, we've been looking forward to this fight for a very long time. Finally, it's going to happen. And, of course, man, good luck.